I have my cola. I have my water. Guys, shall we go romance a general? I think we should. Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. But we should. I love them. I love them. Okay. We're back in. I have my water. Keep me hydrated, y'all. As always, how's the sound? We good? I think we're good. So, we're on 3 loss. So, in the last bit that we did, the last stream that we played this, there was a winter festival, and August was like, I have no idea why we're having a winter festival, but I'm allowing it because guy who's not romanceable needs it. Like, he needs something, like, to like lift his spirits in this time because everyone is dying. So August is kind of like, we're allowing it to happen, and we're just gonna like watch things because no one should be killed until tomorrow night. Well, or I thought it was tomorrow night. I guess it was tonight. Because when we were having really nice conversations with August, and we were almost holding hands and all that jazz, a piercing scream, just ripped through the night. And then all of the hunters ran off to see what it was. We did a little vampire fight with Piper. Piper and us on the same team, fighting against a vampire youngling. And then we met up with the rest of the hunters who, at the scene, found a charred body like all of the others. So from there, a bunch of people spread out. Some people stayed to like search the area. Some people stayed to identify remains if possible. We were sent back home because we were going to be needed in the morning, because I guess we're kind of the lead on this. But that's where we are. So we started heading back. You'll be back later, sorted out? No problem, Tomfy. Is there literally ever a festival in a series that's just normal? I swear it always goes sideways. It's why we can't have nice things. It's just why we can't have nice things. Oh, sorry. I did not mean to break us over that quickly. So August also went back to their office, and it seems like it's still the same. I can't remember. I feel like it's still the same night. I feel like we didn't go to sleep yet, so we went back to his. We tried to find them at their office. Not that we came back together, I don't think. So, after having no luck finding him in his own office, I head to the only other place I assume he may be at this hour. The door to August's office... Okay, excuse you. The door to August's office is thankfully ajar, so I peek around the frame, finding Harry standing alone. Harry's the one that wanted the festival to, like, ease people's feelings during this time. Alec is blowing my mind in the chat. Alec says, oh my god, he said enjoy the fireworks. Enjoy the fireworks. That's right, Alec, you think Harry's involved. You think this guy is involved. Well, we're gonna see. He has a report in hand. His coat hung on the back of August's chair. He looks exhausted, his eyes red-rimmed. However, when he notices me, he still offers me a bright, earnest smile.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to see you safe.
So this is Harry. This is who Alec thinks is behind it. My throat feels tight, and I can't quite place why. Definitely not helping Alec's theory here. James is doing a good job of making it difficult for me to stop thinking about him. The pain I felt from his final moment was raw, like an exposed nerve. Oh, wait, that's right. Weren't we, like, overcome with something? And that's why we needed to find Harry? Like, we can hear the people who have died. Or James, at least. And, like, we can connect with them on a level that we haven't been able to before. And that's why we needed to come find Harry. For some reason, when I think of it, I now think of Harry. I need to know why he wanted me to come here, why everything seems to point back to the man standing before me. I need to tell you something, but I need you to promise that you won't think I've lost my mind. Harry narrows his gaze, nodding once. Go on. I visited the graveyard a few days ago while I was getting my bearings. He stays silent, but I can't help but notice the way his knuckles bleed white as he tightens his fist. I felt an overwhelming sense of grief there. Pain, a yearning for a lost love, a sense of failure and crippling sorrow. I thought nothing of it at the time. It's not unheard of for those who have been murdered to feel scared or sentimental in their final moments, in my experience. But Harry drops his gaze, his bright eyes sad and edged with tears. My words threaten to catch in my throat, but I relent. The other night I visited again. It was almost like something was pulling me there. I heard more, not just a memory this time. He spoke to me. He looks like he's seen a ghost. He stares at me wide-eyed, quickly swiping at his cheeks.
Oh, James.
I get the horrible feeling that he's been waiting for this. I need to know. He nods, clearly understanding. Then he takes a deep, shuddering breath.
James was assigned as my very first hunter the moment we both graduated at 18. He'd shown remarkable promise in school, basically skipping all of the junior nonsense that they force on you. I, too, had impressed, so we were placed together in the hopes that we'd become unstoppable. We were inseparable in the field together for decades, until I took this post as Lieutenant General.
A pause and another deep breath, one that shakes.
But, as well as being my subordinate, he was also my partner.
What? Wait, well, like how I want August to be my partner?
My husband.
Okay, don't be lying to me, man. No. Don't lie to me. I swear to God, if you turn out to be the bad guy and you just lied to my face that James was your husband, I will murder you with my own two hands. Is it a lie? Or, oh my God. Because it's not wrong if, like, that's when you do die, your life flashes before your eyes, or so I've heard. Oh, Harry. I'm not laughing at Harry. Alex message. Well, this is not a twist I saw coming. I know! Reaper Shock EXE, indeed! Indeed, Sleepy! No, Alec, I don't know if it makes me trust him, but it's... Let's just put it this way, if he is lying and he's trying to pull one over on us, I won't feel sad about killing him if I get that option. Let's just put it that way. My heart sinks, bile rising in my throat. I've read countless reports about him in the infamous Hunter Lane over the years, but I never knew his first name or anything about him other than his incomparable work. Official records tend to omit personal details for the safety of the hunter or enforcer in question, unless they become a leader like Harry. They were inimitable? They were inimitable. I don't know what that word is. The best of the best. Whoop. Who is that? Peace Gamer Kuma with the sub. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad that works. I'm glad that works. Did you know if you hide your subscriptions, that doesn't go off? Didn't know that. Thank you, Peace Gamer Kuma. Hello, welcome. How you been? Okay, now I gotta go back to this word I can't say. They were inimitable, the best of the best. Together they killed some of the most nefarious creatures in our history, and, without question, every young trainee aspires to be just like Hunter Lane. To think that he's just gone, and what Harry must be going through. Inimitable? Inimitable. Sounds fake, but okay. Oh man, God. I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
For nearly 10 years, yes. But we'd known each other forever.
I don't like that.
I failed the hunter initiation quite dramatically, and he was taken away to his father's home country to train to become what I'd always dreamed of becoming. Life had other plans for me, but we still found each other in the end. He used to joke that we were destined. The romantic fool. I really don't think it's sunk in that he's gone just yet.
As someone whose partner says, like, destiny as well, you know, same birthday, meeting coincidentally, and just like, God, that hits me so hard. I don't like this. I love it, but I don't like it.
I keep thinking he's going to walk through my door, covered head to toe in blood and grime, with a stupid, wonderful grin on his face.
I notice how his eyes light up when he talks about him.
They say that people deal with grief differently, but I haven't quite figured mine out just yet. I apologize for not telling you, but it was important to me that I could trust you first. My judgment has been impaired, I'll admit it, though this turn of events isn't exactly what I expected. All I can think about now is justice. About the others that died before him, and what we could have done to stop it. What I could have done to stop it.
I'm just gonna let him speak his piece. What did he tell you when he spoke to you? His words waver and he mindlessly fiddles with his wedding band, eagerly awaiting my response. I think about what Ezra said, about being careful who I share this with. Did that warning apply to the Lieutenant General of all of Escria? Oh, we're in trouble. I want to know what that rock is in the corner. That's the DM and you coming out, Sleepy. If my theory holds, how sad that the vamps made him kill his own husband. As a resident English major, it's a word. Just hella pretentious. Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, fuck that shit then. The story, sad romance I don't know about. Me, glowing, floating rock. Do I tell him the truth or do I lie? Yes, I've just been putting off this decision. I kind of want to lie. kind of want to lie. Playing with my lights, leave me alone. Save! Save! Good call, Sleepy. This choice is brutal, because the price for failure here could be enormous, right? I think I'm gonna lie. I think if it was August, I would tell them. But just... I don't know. We're not romancing Ezra, but I can still like those characters. And I think August and Ezra right now are the ones I can like really trust. I'm gonna lie. I have it saved, so like we could always come back to this point, but I'm gonna lie. For first run, we're gonna lie. He just told me his name. Nothing more. If he did try to say anything of substance, I didn't hear. I see. He studies my face, and I wonder if he can tell I'm hiding something. I stand my ground, my expression solid.
Find Augustus. They can help. They specialize in psionic magic, and this certainly falls into that category, I assume. Trust no one else with this, do you understand?
Yep, because I didn't even trust you, buddy. I nod, feeling immensely guilty that I refrained from telling the whole truth. But I think I need to keep this close to my chest. I will. Silence hangs heavy between us, and I don't quite know what to say next. He looks devastated, understandably. He must have so much on his mind already with the latest murder, and now this. The way he came alive when he spoke about James didn't go unnoticed, and I wonder if maybe talking about him would lift his mood. There's a lot of hunters out there that can only aspire to be half as brilliant as Hunter Lane. I would love to hear what he was like if you don't mind. His somber expression disappears and he seems to brighten up a little.
He was a cocky son of a bitch, but it worked well for him in the field. He was never careless, though.
That's true love. You could call your partner a cocky son of a bitch with a smile on your face and love in your heart. That's true fucking love.
I often found myself watching him instead of paying attention to whatever was attacking us. Luckily, he could fight well enough to protect us both, or I'm sure we'd have been in trouble. A lot of enforcers choose to stay cooped up in a stuffy office, away from all that danger. Working with James made me not want to miss a thing.
He digs into his coat pocket, retrieving his wallet and pulling out a small, weathered photo. He pauses, staring me down as if he has reservations, but then he hands it over. We love this game. We love this game. We stand this game. I don't care. I don't care how the rest of this game plays out. We love, we stand. Fuck. Why is the picture so good? It's so emotional. It's of him and James. They look young, beyond happy, and impossibly in love.
We were unbearable to be around, I'm sure.
And these are the couples I love. I study the genuine smiles and the way their fingers are laced together. I may not know James aside from the voice in my head, but I feel a strange connection to him. As if I've known him forever. Thank you for showing me. He tucks the photo back into its place right beside a neatly folded up letter.
Well, apparently he appears to have taken a liking to you. It's only fair for you to put a face to the name, I suppose.
Wish you would have shown me the picture before I lied to you, though. He stares down at his hand, once again twisting his wedding band. His expression is neutral when he meets my gaze, but in a split second his disposition shifts to the stiff formality I'm so used to when dealing with figures of authority. I gather that our conversation about his dearly departed is over.
What happened tonight could have been prevented. It's unacceptable that we were so aware of the looming threat, and yet we let our guard down and lost another life. This cannot happen again.
Yes, sir. I nod, agreeing wholeheartedly, but I cannot shake the feeling that, yes, this could have been prevented if it weren't for the festival. The festival he was so adamant. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was like, I thought another word should be in there. That's fine. The festival he was so adamant went ahead despite others' clear apprehension, including August. I think better of pressing the matter. Harry suddenly doesn't seem like a man willing to admit fault. Did you speak to the twins as I requested? I did. As I'm sure you expected, I didn't get much out of them. A quiet hum, which I think is an indifferent agreement, and Harry sighs heavily. They were rather adept at both lying and sheer avoidance. I am interested in speaking to the brother alone, though. There was something off about him, like he just didn't want to be there. I also came across a letter outside the building, one that was addressed to him. The language looked demonic. Harry nods, indifferent, and I wonder if he even heard me. He clears his throat and flicks his eyes to the side as though he has no interest in humoring me any longer. Okay.
There's nothing more you can do here until we've identified the victim. Get some rest. It's late. You're dismissed, Hunter.
Hunter, babe. Though I'm used to being addressed in such a manner, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't perplexed by the shift in his demeanor. I chalk it down to grief, just like he said, but I can't help but feel like maybe I've disappointed him somehow. I turn and I quietly leave. Maybe he does know that we lied to him. This is why I'd be a good buddy for dungeon crawling. Look at everything. Okay, now I want to know what goes on in Drelly's mind when Chawnee's around. You don't. You don't. Because it goes from rated G, fluffy cuteness, clouds and cherubs to the sectioned off video area at Tsutaya. Yeah. It can go from one to the other real quick. Nobody wants to be in Drelly's mind, okay? Is this the first character who's died in this game? I don't know, but it's definitely sad. It's the first character that they've told, like, that we've been kind of connected to. I don't know, yeah. Shit, I think he knows we lied to him. Look, I don't regret it, though. I don't regret it. Snow is still falling as I step outside. Though the hour is late, there's certainly no peaceful quiet in Lunaris tonight. Streets outside of the headquarters are bustling with hunters, enforcers, and everything in between. I keep my head down as I make my way towards the wolf. I fall into a trance as I replay my conversation with Harry over and over, trying to pinpoint the exact moment that made him change his attitude so drastically. I'm snapped back to reality when I bump into something cold and hard, finding a pair of familiar golden eyes staring back at me when I look up.
Distracted, are we?
It's snowing, it's cold, but a vampire doesn't care because it can't feel it anyway. So shirt wide open. I love this. This is the shit I live for. Oh, what's up, Finn? I'm not romancing you this round, but hi, sweetie. I step back, brushing down the front of my coat. I can see that his lips are on the cusp of curling to the side in a vaguely amused smirk. You could say that. It's been a long night. He offers me a sympathetic look, shoving his hands firmly into his coat pockets as a duo of enforcers pass by. They make a point to glare at him and, by proxy, at me for being near him. And I do this in return. Finn dutifully avoids their gazes like a man who has had centuries to perfect feigning indifference to the way people like me treat him and his kind. I'm glad to see you safe, Reaper. We were all worried for you when we heard. I have friends! I wonder if you could play this game and not romance anybody. Could you play this game and romance everybody? Look, I already have suspicions that you can have a polyamorous relationship in this game. Because I do think Finn and Ezra have something. And I think if you romance one of them, I think you would get into a relationship with both of them. I already think that. Could we... I want to romance everyone now. Oh, God. But anyway, I have friends. Thank you, Finn. He turns to check that the streets are clear. He turns to check that the street is clear, turning back to me with a serious look. I have my clan patrolling the woods. I'll ensure they're out until dawn, searching if necessary. Anything we can do to help find whatever or whoever is doing this. I'm grateful for the assistance, and I certainly can't say I've ever had an entire clan of vampires as allies before. I'm optimistic that their help will be of great value to me. That's very kind. Are we gonna tell him that we killed a vampire youngling? Game, can you give me that option? Because I feel like I need to tell him. After an indecipherable pause, Finn's expression drifts somewhere far away. You know, I was out there just now. I picked up a scent. Something familiar. Familiar how? He steps closer, and there's a certain air of caution in the way he addresses me. As if he's unsure that we're truly alone. I didn't get to hang around. There were too many enforcers, but the blood on that stone we found in the graveyard, at the scene of... He pauses, apprehension clouding the way he looks at me. His next words are glum and as dead as his demeanor. Of Hunter Lane's death. He's testing the waters if the way he holds my stare is anything to go by, waiting to see just how clued in I am. I know about him, Finn. I spoke to Harry just now. He might be a vampire, but the look that crosses his face momentarily isn't exactly subtle. He casts his eyes away from me, the frown that's settled at his brow softening around the edges. He licks one of his fangs, thinking with a forlornness that suits him a little too well. I see. And how did that go? I shrug, because I can't really offer him anything else. I feel deflated and defeated. Not great. He's in mourning, and I don't think he's in the right mind to be making decisions. Finn purses his lips, contemplating my statement.
That's a bold way to speak of your Lieutenant General, but I don't doubt your instincts. I've lost loved ones, and it's never easy. The mind needs time to heal after such trauma, and all Harry is doing is delaying his grief.
Eventually, he throws me a half-hearted smile, but I sense it's something pitiful rather than friendly. I suspect my frustration with my current predicament is glaringly obvious without him having to read my thoughts.
I'm sorry you've been kept so in the dark. I can sense that you're frustrated, and I don't blame you. As much as I may not agree with certain information being withheld, it truly is for your safety.
Is it, though? Is it really? It's funny because everyone keeps saying such things, but it certainly doesn't feel like anything other than sheer avoidance. He removes a hand from his pocket, running long fingers through his hair with a knowing exhale. Yes, well, I cannot excuse anyone else's behavior, but I can apologize for my own. Come by the catacombs when you get the chance. I have some things we can discuss that may help. Though spending some time underground in a tomb sounds less than appealing, Finn doesn't look like the kind of man who lives in squalor. Plus, any information is valued, and Finn has lived here long enough to know the ins and outs of this strange little town. Thank you. I'll take you up on that as soon as I can. He tips his head, encouraging me to follow him towards the wolf, I assume. He's helping me get back safely. Come on, I'll walk you home. I'm gonna cross my legs. Come here. Come here. You wanna be warm? I'm eager to get inside. With a few strides, I catch up to him, falling in step. This is why I should have taken a nap. I don't require an escort, you know. Everyone seems so set on ensuring I'm safe, but y'all seem to be forgetting I was brought here to save the day. Supposedly. He purses his lips in an obvious attempt to stop himself from laughing, and I watch the bob of his throat as he swallows the noise.
I'm aware that you require no assistance, but think about the hunters that were killed. They were of your caliber, your rank. The best of the best, as the enforcers love to say.
Why was I brought here? Why? Like, really? Okay, continuing on.
The thought of you ending up like them is not a pleasant one.
He has a point, I suppose. Very well, but no coddling, understand? Yes, General. He laughs again when he catches sight of the dramatic roll of my eyes, sidestepping with startling grace to avoid the elbow that I launched towards his ribcage. We walk quietly through the streets, the cobblestones glistening with frost. The moon is full and hangs low in the sky, as it always seems to here in Lunaris, and Finn exhales sharply to break the silence. I glance at him, too tired to ask him any of the hundreds of questions that run through my mind. I think he knows somehow, because he also seems to have something on the tip of his tongue. We stop outside the wolf, the lantern that hangs above the door dark thanks to the late hour. I glance up at the now familiar sign, a scrappy-looking white wolf howling at a full moon, and I laugh. Finn leans against the mismatched brick and stares at me quite intently, his eyes unnervingly bright in the growing darkness. What's funny? You're all masters at being painfully cryptic, and yet I still feel at home. But I shouldn't trust a single one of you, should I? He turns, checking we're alone again before he leans a little closer, his voice low.
That's for you to decide. So, tell me, Hunter, what does that tricky little gut of yours tell you about all of this? About us? What do you feel?
I feel like this is just an elaborate plot for me to romance one of you guys, and I have fallen for it hook, line, and sinker. And I'm okay with it. Like, it's time for me to go. Like, we should talk. Like, I need a drink. No, we learned this last time. We just always flirt. We always flirt. But if there's a choice out of all 6 of them, we go August. That's what we have learned. That's what we're doing. Like we should talk. I find myself getting lost in molten gold. I love that description for eyes. I'm so sorry. I hate eye descriptions, but molten gold is, I love molten. I love that word. It's such a good word. Anyway, Kari, sorry. Moving on. Did I just say Kari? I swear there's no alcohol in that. I find myself getting lost in molten gold, watching him watch me. A witty response turns to ash upon my tongue. I try to search his face for a clue about what he seeks, but I come up short. I feel that I should be doing anything other than talking to strange vampires in the snow at this early hour. And yet here you are. I sigh, joining him and leaning against the wall, my breath turning to mist against the cold air. Here I am. I feel like I've used that line IRL before. I wish I knew what it was about him that draws me in, besides the obvious. By all accounts, I should be overly cautious around such a creature, but Finn makes me feel more at ease than I thought possible. And I need that tonight, more than ever. I want to get to know him, to understand why my heart pounds so feverishly whenever he's near. I should head inside. My words sound dull, and I know I don't mean them. I'm looking for a reason to stay right here, anchored in this spot. You sound positively enthused. I shrug, sparing the old door of the tavern a glance. The sheets are scratchy. I'm just psyching myself up. That's fair. After a very brief pause, he quickly steals his gaze. He reaches out and runs a cool iron finger along the curve of my cheekbone. The etchings flicker in the darkness.
You are quite lovely, you know.
God damn it, voice actors. Why are you so good at your jobs? Oh, Finn. Oh, God. I cannot resist the impulse to tip my head in blatant invitation. The way wolves show submission, bearing the column of my throat to a man that could rip it out in the blink of an eye. Okay, now we're just Bella Swanning some shit. So sorry. This game is way better than Twilight, but I'm getting major Bella. What the fuck is his name? I know the actor. What the hell is his name? Because I was Jacob. I was Team Jacob Edward. All right, Edward. I was Team Jacob, so don't come at me. His cool digit stops over the place where my pulse thrums furiously, and I no longer care that he can hear, that he knows what he's doing to me. This is how you write sexy vampire men. This is how you do it. And for sexy vampire women, please see Castlevania on Netflix. That's how you write sexy vampires. There you go. He smells strangely like a dying summer, though I suspect his memories of sunshine are long dead.
Sweet dreams, fair hunter. I daren't keep you from your rest much longer.
Damn it. I mean, I feel like Mr. Potato Head. I'm a married spud. We're romancing August. My traitorous body shivers under his touch, and I mourn the loss of it when he finally pulls away. He quickly stuffs his hand back into his coat pockets, as if the temptation would be too much if he didn't. I take a deep breath and I try to gather my wits. I can't seem to find it in me to mind. He smiles at that, and I sense reluctance as he pushes away from the wall, ready to depart.
Ah, alas, you have a town to save. Plus, the night is still young, for a creature like myself.
If this was me IRL, I would definitely be in bed. Doesn't matter how hot you are, I would be asleep. I sigh, staying closer than is probably necessary, craving contact of any kind as I watch his grin grow wider. Right. I really should head inside, though, I suppose.
A pleasure as always. And remember, we've got your back. Should we find anything of interest overnight, I'll come running. Daylight permitting, of course. Good night, Hunter.
I return his smile, pushing the heavy door to the wolf open and praying it doesn't creak and wake the other residents. Good night, Finn. I watch him go before I close the door, only the light of the moon guiding his way as he disappears into the darkness. I finally settle upon the hard mattress, the cheap sheets harsh against my skin as I attempt to get comfortable. Light from the low-hanging moon pours into my room. I've scrubbed myself clean from any traces of grime from the hunt, and I can't help but feel irritated from the sheer lack of progress I've made so far. I come to the conclusion that there are too many secret keepers in this town, and I refuse to feel defeated or to let it continue. Only I can keep the secrets. Overwhelmed by today's events, I find myself falling into a swift and dreamless sleep. I'm gonna sleep for another day, aren't I? Fuck. Reality settles over me when I wake, a thick smog that almost suffocates me as I reluctantly drag myself from the almost comfort of my bed. I haven't had anywhere near enough rest, but I must relent. I gather the energy to dress and head downstairs to face whatever obstacles are hastily and inevitably shoved in my way. Mick eat me sleeping. Sleepy says, challenge accepted on the no Romo part. I'm totally down. If a game gives me an option to, like, not romance anyone, I'm totally willing to take that route just to see what happens. Because you can get some really awesome friendships. This game has done an amazing job so far of, even though I'm not romancing some of these characters this run, I feel like we're friends. Like Ezra, Piper, like I do some of the flirty options, but conversations outside of that actually feels like you're creating a non-romantic relationship, and I really enjoy that because you don't get that often in dating sims. I've given you my conspiracy brain, and I'm sorry. I'm not. This is great. I do have to wonder how voluntary this is, if his vampiric gaze is affecting our MC. I would hope not, because I feel like this, like, it is a power of vampires, but I would hope from the developer point of view, they've done such a good job about being very inclusive and very, like inclusive on all accounts, that I would like to assume that consent is in that as well. Like, we know he can do it, but I'm gonna trust that he's not. You know what I mean? I feel like, yeah. I don't feel like the developer would. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to think that, basically. Lenore, who is mine? Was it Camilla? Is her name Camilla? I haven't seen it in a hot second. Yes. She was like, I'm gonna go out and not on a man's sword. No thank you. No fucking thank you. Have all the friends. I agree. Let me hydrate some, guys. Excuse me. Yeah. As my eyes take in the bleary sight of the empty tavern, The hideous sound of the scraping of wood against stone assaults my ears. In a corner of the room, Alcar stumbles to his feet, the chair he's been sitting on almost toppling over. He catches it and sets it right, then grimaces briefly before stalking over to me. It's easy to see the hunch of his shoulders and the stiffness of his posture. For a moment, I wonder if he's hurt somehow, but as he comes closer, it seems more likely he's only drunk or hungover? Wary, perhaps? Not unusual, but with commotion last night, it still puts me ill at ease. I don't need supernatural senses to know that this is going to be another pebble in the mountain of mysteries. He looks a mess. What has he been doing? Rolling around on the forest floor?
Hunter, I need to speak with you.
He's got a glow. I approve. I love the little half. Yes. 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 Whoever designed the characters, chef's kiss. Amazing. He doesn't sound like the aloof, cocky half-lycan I've come to know. He speaks forcefully, but there's a tremor in his voice that's hard to miss. What's wrong? The frown deepens. Instead of explaining himself, Alcor holds out his hand and uncurls his fingers, revealing a crumpled ball of fabric. I thought it was his blood. For a moment I stare at him and at the thing he's holding without comprehension. Alcar stares back, his expression telling me he thinks I'm an idiot for not getting it. But then I realize the distinctive purple under the dirt and the dried, crusted blood, and my stomach drops. A hunter sash. Alcar is holding a hunter sash in his hand. Or what's left of it. The thing is in a sorry state, its original color almost indistinguishable under the grime. Carefully, I reach out to take it from him for closer inspection. He looks down.
It doesn't belong to the hunter that was killed last night. It doesn't belong to any of them. It's not right. The smell.
So we have Alcar and Finn talking about the weird-ass fucking smell. I stare at him in disbelief, shaking my head as I feel the gritty fabric between my fingers. Then, who does it belong to? Alcar shrugs half-heartedly. In the tavern's uncertain light, his face is drawn and his eyes are sunken. Exhausted, I realize. But his tail still flicks back and forth, back and forth. In impatience or agitation? It's hard to tell with him. All I know is that Alcar is telling the truth, if for no other reason than because he's too worn out for deception. I tried, but I couldn't tell. I searched all night with Finn's clan, but we came up short. See, Finn, Alcar, friends. Again, the friendship would be awesome! He looks over his shoulder, checking to ensure we don't have company.
I have to be careful. I can't be seen with such things. They'll
think he did it. A sharp exhale, and he admits defeat. Shoulders drooping, ears flat against his head. There's as much bitter resentment in his voice as there is sulk.
They'll make me pay for my generosity with my own blood. Again.
I'm not gonna let that happen. The certainty with which he says it makes my stomach drop almost as much as his grim resignation. I won't let them hurt you. I can protect you. Why come to me? We're always flirting. We missed Alcar's one time. Sleepy is going insane on the outfits, and I love it. I love they love the half cape. Yes, Sleepy. I just want to steal their clothing. Me too. Alec, Harry. What gave you the impression, Harry? What have you gotten? What more have you gotten? Flirt it is. I can protect you. I raise an eyebrow at him, even as I very carefully pocket the piece of evidence. I haven't forgotten the brief conversation with Finn in the graveyard about the strange-smelling blood. This feels like a vague but worthwhile puzzle piece. And despite himself, Alcar delivered it to me. Me, a stranger, and a hunter at that. Probably precisely because I'm a stranger. Fuck knows, he probably doesn't trust any of my colleagues in this town. Still, it's got me touched. Don't worry, Alcar. I won't mention you. And even if they do try to give you trouble for it, they'll have to get through me first. Alcar's jaw drops. He stares at me like I've just said something outlandish before the moment passes, and he takes a step back, a bark of laugh bubbling out of him. Oh, that's rich. I glare at him, and he grins right back with not an ounce of humility. Richer than you, that's for sure. What are you, 12? Right on your level then, right? I love the banter. I love the witty, like, legitimate banter in this. I wish I was this fast on my feet with witty banter, but, like, this is good witty banter. The grin widens, his canines bared, sharp and large, and in genuine amusement. Alcar surveys me for a moment with his arms still crossed, but there's something else in his gaze now. After a moment, he laughs again, but averts his eyes. I don't miss that. Nor do I miss the blush. Still got it. Nor the fact that he can't seem to stop grinning. I'm gonna romance all these mofos. Fuck!
You're a fucking riot, Hunter.
I know. Seems your type. Did I? Reaper. Hunter Reaper. You love to see it, folks. You love to see it. He rolls his eyes, looking none too upset. He leans closer suddenly, lowering his voice. He leans closer suddenly, lowering his voice despite the empty tavern.
I don't know how much or how little you've decided to trust the Pomps in that workplace of yours. And I said all that shit about not trusting anyone. But just listen to me this once. Take that to Ezra, not your superior.
So everyone is like, kind of like, don't tell people, don't give it to Harry. Unless he's also meaning August. But we'll take it straight to Ezra. He regards me with beseeching intensity, eyes flickering across my face like he's looking for some sort of give, something he can trust. I don't know if I can give it to him. Alcar's concerned for his own well-being, I understand. This is different. Yet I have no desire to bother Harry this morning. Not after last night. And not over an inconclusive scrap of something that smells strange. August is another mystery altogether. Ezra does have a wonderful little shop full of witchy magic. In a town this small, I can only surmise he would be the one with the most tools at his disposal to suss out an analysis for something like this. It does make sense to go to him, which is all well and good, because Alcar is beginning to look downright fidgety. Alright, I'll go to Ezra with this. Alcar stares at me for a second longer, like he doesn't know if I was being honest. Eventually, however, his shoulders relax and he takes a step back.
Then my job's done. Hope you don't mind me quitting this place. The tavern's no fun when there's nobody here to annoy.
Are you not having fun annoying me? He drops into a mocking half-assed bow, his tail swishing, and then all but squeezes himself out the door right past me before I can so much as frown. I stare where Alcar has already vanished, and I wonder for a moment if I should chase him down. He's no hunter, and I have a feeling not entirely natural that the thing out there isn't interested in lichens, witches, demons, or vampires. It's nothing to do with the killing pattern. It's... Sighing, I tuck my coat a little tighter around myself and reluctantly make to follow his path. Breakfast will have to wait. Going to Ezra's. I have some snacks back here, don't I? I'm kind of peckish. Yesterday was yesterday, definitely yesterday for everyone. Yesterday was November 11th, also known as Pocky Day. I have a better box. There you go. Show you here. Pocky Day. Because 11, 1, 1, 11, 1, 1, Pocky. So I have some Pocky. I'm gonna eat. It's really hard to eat and drink though when I'm doing a game that I'm reading half the shit. But I need to hydrate. What's going on? What's going on in the interwebs? When I say interwebs, I mean my notifications. Hunter's garb, couldn't put it to anyone. I don't know, Alec. I don't want to say you're right, and I don't want to say you're wrong. I don't know. It didn't make a strong connection to me. But the shop is empty when I arrive. That comforting tinkle of the bell that sits above the door welcoming me. Ezra's nowhere to be seen, but I do spot a small white cat curled up at the foot of the shop counter. A curious creature, one that gives off the same soothing, magical aura as her assumed flower. Her assumed owner. Why did I say flower? Assumed owner. That was... I can't... Hi, I'm Jared. I'm, 18 years old? Is he 18? Hi, I'm Jared. I'm 18 years old and I don't know how to fucking read. The purple curtain that separates the shop and the living quarters twitches, and Ezra emerges clutching a cup of steaming tea.
I'm so relieved to see that you're okay.
Look how fucking comfy this outfit looks now. The cat's ears twitch at the sound of his voice, and she stretches, sauntering over to him and parading herself in between his legs. He ignores her, moving to place his tea upon the counter. I heard that you had to depart the festival quite abruptly. We were all worried. I nod politely, offering him a clipped smile. I did, unfortunately. I hope you've had enough rest. You look exhausted. Not that I'm surprised after what I assumed was an incredibly late evening. Would you like some tea? The sash feels heavy in my coat. As much as I enjoy exchanging pleasantries with the witch, I'm here for a reason. I actually need your help with something quite urgent. You do? What is it? Both the cat and Ezra watch me intently as I retrieve the sash, the violet bloodied fabric unfurling as I hold it up. The cat hisses, her hackles raised as she darts into the back room. That paired with the look on Ezra's face unnerves me, and I sigh heavily, exasperated as he rushes past me to lock the front door. Fuck. Deadbolt and all. He faces the door, his palms splayed flat upon the window pane. It glows a pleasant shade of blue as he whispers what I assume to be a ward incantation before he turns to join me. Though we're quite clearly alone, his voice is tactfully quiet.
Where exactly did you get that?
The words rush out of him and his aura is panicked, so much so that I begin to feel a terrible sense of unease washing over me. Ezra is the one person I truly had no hesitation about trusting from the start. Facts. Someone I thought I could rely on, but I find myself questioning his intentions. No. We trust Ezra. We 100%. Could he possibly already know who this belongs to? And if so, how? Well, maybe if we ask, he'll tell us. It's Ezra. Alcar found it in the woods last night. He told me to bring it to you and to only you. He runs a hand through his curls, and I notice that it's shaking. Ezra, are you okay? A heavy exhale, and he closes his eyes, shaking his head before he meets my gaze.
I don't think you understand. This puts us all in danger.
What the fuck? Oh my god, this game. Danger? I don't understand. It's just a sash. I simply hoped you could identify who it belonged to. You're aware of who its owner is, I assume, based on your reaction. I play dumb, disguising my interest in the fact that I know it's not the new victims. If he's hiding something, I'll find out. He moves around to the other side of the counter, nervously rearranging a pile of glowing crystals and pushing aside a dish filled with colorful gems. He spares me a glance as he takes a seat, and then he forces a smile. Ezra, I trust you, baby boy. Don't do this to me. I have an inkling, yes. May I? He holds out his hand, which I observe is now perfectly steady. What the fuck? I got nothing. I have nothing. I'm hesitant to part with a scrap after that little display of uncertainty, but he seems to have collected his thoughts. Are you sure? He nods, wiggling his fingers impatiently.
As sure as I'll ever be. Now, let us get this over with.
As soon as the sash meets his palm, a bright emerald light emanates from his fingertips. The fabric hovers midair, suspended by vibrant whorls of magic. The movement of Ezra's hands is fluid like water as he commands his spell. I watch in awe as a mark forms before him, indecipherable shapes shifting and changing. His eyes are alight, brighter than ever as the blood that coats the sash seems to pull away from the fabric, suspended alongside his magic. It's beautiful, a truly impressive display, but I ensure I don't take my eyes off him for even a second. His lips part, his brow deeply furrowed as he concentrates. He doesn't look pleased. I'm not entirely sure exactly what he's doing, but whatever it is, I just hope that it helps. This is the first solid piece of evidence I've managed to get my hands on, and I refuse to rest until I get a name. Why didn't Alcar just take it straight to Ezra to then give to me? Was that too far? And he was like, no, I need to give it to a hunter right away. Anyway. A sharp inhale and Ezra closes his eyes tight, the magic dissipating and the sash falls and settles upon the wood. He drops his head, his knuckles tight as he grips the edge of the counter. I had a feeling. Ezra, work with me here. I need you to be honest. He looks scared, maybe even a little upset. What the fuck?
This is way bigger than me, but I can't in good conscience keep this from you.
Thank you. I'm not sure if he's talking directly to me or if he's reassuring himself. I suspect it's the latter. I try to remain calm, and I truly am unsurprised that yet another person in this town has managed to refrain from divulging potentially valuable information. This sash belongs to a girl named Aya Walker. What the fuck? He pushes away from the counter, putting distance between himself and the sash, eyeing it warily. And who exactly is Aya Walker?
I really shouldn't say anymore. I would hate for any harm to come to you because of me.
look, buddy. You're a witch. I've talked to a vampire. I've talked to a lichen. I'm trying to get a general who has magic to fall in love with me. I talk to a demon. And then there's a hot woman who, is like wanting to fight. Look. If it's going to hit me either way. I'm the main character. Just give it to me straight. Again, I am not, but my information needs to be. Can't put you in danger. Well, danger's a part of my job. It's like my middle name, which it's not, but what is my middle name? Reaper Nunny Babe. What would be my middle name? Okay, sorry. Back topic. Harm? Who would harm me over something as insignificant as a name? Names are not insignificant. Just letting y'all know. Names are not insignificant. Rumpelstiltskin. I'm growing increasingly more frustrated as the minutes pass by, and Ezra can tell. I know he's not stupid. If anything, he's too smart. I suppose he's just looking out for himself, but whatever knowledge he's retaining is clearly valuable, and I must know. I think back to what Omen said only a few nights ago. About Finn visiting less, about Ezra being tired all the time. Is this connected somehow? You're safe. I'll protect you. You need to tell me now. Flirt! I'll protect you. Just tell me! Reaper's new middle name is Danger. That was good. Pocky time sending snacks. I could not stop myself from going to him. The way he stares at the sash and the way all color drains from his freckled cheeks has my heart aching. Because there's also something that we don't know between Ezra and August. Something's happened there too. Which, from what I've gathered, happened before all of this, but like, just so many things. Ezra, it's okay. I'll never let anything happen to you.
I worry about you. I know that sounds foolish, but I care for you, and I will not be responsible for you getting hurt.
Look, man, sometimes we can't promise that to people. He wraps his arms around his waist, almost as if he's trying to hold himself together. I reach out with a tentative hand, and he steps forward. Without hesitation, I wrap my arms around him. Our bodies seamed from shoulder to waist to hip. Okay, can we talk about this? This is how you write a soft boy romanceable character. This is how you do it. Not some character that looks like a fucking 12-year-old kid. You do it in ways that like this, holding yourself together. You as, I believe we chose our pronouns when we said she, her. As a female presenting main character, like going in for like the quote unquote masculine, like, advances and motions and things. This is how you write a soft boy character, in my opinion. Because I'm not seeing him as anything less. He's just a soft person. Like, just whenever I see soft boys in other dating sims, I'm always like, you're a child. Like, you just haven't matured enough. Or you haven't, like, I don't know. It always seems like it's half of a character as all the other ones. And it feels really, really bad because soft boys do live in the world. There's men who are more in tune with their emotions, and that's amazing to see. This is how this is a good representation of those kinds of romanceable characters. I'm in love with this game. And I can't stop myself from stopping and pointing out all the really cute and like good things about it. He's a soft boy in my eyes. Nah, he's soft. In my eyes, he's a soft boy, Sleepy. So I'm sorry soft boys are not my cup of tea. So if I've like labeled your characters incorrectly and he is not a soft boy, apologies to anybody watching this, but in my eyes, he's soft boy. Okay, continuing on. He buries his face in the crook of my neck, his hands splayed upon my back, his fingers curled tightly in my clothing. So this went from 100 to 20 to like now we're back at 80. I hold him until I'm sure that he's not going to fall apart, until I know that he feels safe. Thank you. We reluctantly part, and I register the way his cheeks have darkened, his green eyes bright. I love the blush for him, too. Anytime. Ezra eventually shifts his weight, his breathing steadier than it had been, and he clears his throat.
Aya was a general. She was relatively new in town after being transferred here and was arrested quite suddenly. No one outside of the enforcers knows why. Like some dirty little secret.
Hunters, especially of a general's rank, are very rarely thrown in the dungeons for minor transgressions. We're too valuable, so what did she do? I don't know what to do with this information. A young general being thrown into the dungeons is alarming, especially when there's no apparent reason. Treason, murder, unlawful torture, these are all things that I know hunters have been imprisoned for, but never without the public having full knowledge. Such events are not usually quiet ones. We have families and friends. We save lives. There must be something somewhere that tells me why she was stripped of her title and thrown in a cell. I take the sash from the counter and tuck it back inside my coat, and Ezra keeps a close eye on the movement as if it may jump out and bite him. Who was her enforcer? August. It's either August or Harry. Ezra throws me that look again, the one where he looks sad and reluctant. I got that one right, though. I got that one right. Good job, Reeps. Gus. I got that right. I'm not going to catch any other thing this entire game. We're going to be thrown for curves and twists and turns, but I at least got that. Of course, because I don't have enough on my plate already. He quickly scrambles to add to his statement, clearly not wanting me to think ill of August.
Only in the interim while her transfer was processed. She and Piper hit it off quite quickly, but she was gone before she had a chance to thrive.
I take a step towards the door, and Ezra nervously follows. Where are you going? He looks like he wants to reach out and stop me, but he thinks better of it. I'm going to clear my head before... I don't know. I reach to turn the locks, then for the handle, watching his words shimmer and fade as he reluctantly waves his hand. Something begs at me to pause. Tell me, why are you so afraid?
I'm scared to learn the truth. I've only ever wanted to find somewhere to settle, somewhere quiet and away from the things that gave me nightmares. I found that here. I found love, a family, and yet...
Love? Another check in my inner relationship with Finn? I'm also gonna call that too. I'm really betting on that, please. Nothing lasts forever. He shakes his head.
Everything crumbles, eventually. That's why I'm afraid. I just want a normal life.
We stare at each other. We stare each other down for a lingering moment. And I truly feel sorry for him. For everyone in this town. I assume that associating yourself with creatures doesn't grant to you much peace. It does not. I drop my head, my mind swimming. People are dying and being thrown in dungeons. I've got your back, Ezra. Just as long as you have mine. I thank you. Just stay safe. We need you. Did all the other hunters get loved this much? Oh my god, I love it. Let's look at the chat. I mean, like, ooh. Oh, like, maybe, like, he's not 100% soft boy. Maybe he's like, not like soft boy, ew, soft boy, but like, okay, I see what you mean, Sleepy. I see what you mean. He's also soft boy because of that sweater. Looks so I know, I want that so bad. It's interesting, Alex says it's interesting because you also see the more standard uwu soft boy in Omen. Yes! I sometimes forget Omen's a thing because I don't go towards the soft boys. So Omen's actually never really been on my radar. Like he's adorable and I like some of the things like I like talking to him, but he's a strong soft boy. I feel like Ezra's in that. Ezra's in a soft boy spectrum, but Omen's on this side and Ezra's on this side, if that makes sense. But they don't feel the same. Exactly. Yeah. Oof. Okay. Pocky time. Before we start a new bit. Stretch. I'm stretching. I'm not sleepy. I'm not sleepy. I'm just sleepy. I'm not sleepy. I'm just tired. Can't tell if my partner went to sleep or not. Okay, best Pocky flavor. Go. In the chat. Best Pocky flavor. I'm eating another one. Eating another one and admiring my pin. So gosh darn pretty. Okay. Chill air hits me as soon as I open the door of Ezra's shop and step outside. It hisses in my ears, piercing through my layers like it wants to chase me back indoors. I can think of no alternative more enticing. Wait, I can go back. Back. There we go. Can think of no alternative more enticing, but my work is done here and I need to move on. Not a moment less well-timed, it seems, as I close the door and immediately notice a familiar face skulking about just out of my vision until now. Don't know who it could be. Omen! Speak of our resident super soft boy. Omen startles when he realizes that I've spotted him. He takes a full step away from me, one hand half raised, his tail lashing like a snake. For reasons I can't even begin to fathom, there's genuine fear on his face. Can he smell the sash? Omen? Where have you been? Speak of the devil. Is something wrong? Speak of the devil. Literally, speak of the devil, because we are speaking about him and he's a devil in 2 parts. The first thought to cross my mind is that he's suspiciously distraught. The second is that it pains me to see him that way. Maybe a distraction is in order. I try to catch Omen's eye and wink at him. Speak of the devil. I was wondering where you were. Am I imagining that he stiffens at the words? It's hard to tell with how stiff he already is. It lasts for only a second before his face turns red. Maybe redder than just a blush. Something flickers in Omen's eyes, like embers about to burst to life. But he looks sideways too quickly for me to make sure. His aura churns, shifts, but doesn't change. Omen twists a strand of hair around one finger and tugs at it, tail twitching most anxiously. Adorably. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
I wasn't upset, just surprised is all.
He glances at me again, very briefly, his brown eyes half hidden beneath long lashes. Omen swallows and that blush intensifies. But he is smiling, much to my delight. Tremulously, uncertainly, but he's smiling. After a moment, he even deigns to meet my... There's a lot of words I don't know how to say. But after a moment, he even meets my eyes. I don't know. Clearing his throat, Omen folds his arms together and seems to make a conscious effort to relax.
Thank you for worrying about me. I promise I stayed out of trouble.
Oh, good baby. I believe you. Omen blinks, then smiles wider, his shoulders sinking in palpable relief. Okay, that's good to know. He looks at me intently, head tilted to one side. What about you? I heard that there was some kind of trouble. I'm unhurt. Omen's eyes flicker to Ezra's door, expression dubious. I wasn't seeing him because I was hurt, don't worry. Oh, okay. A moment of slightly awkward silence passes before he continues. I'm looking for someone. Okay. Omen says this very quietly, like he's confessing a secret. He scans my face with eyes flickering red rather than the usual warm brown. I wait since there's little else I can say. Then something seems to resolve. Omen looks from me to Ezra's door, then takes a step back, his mouth tight.
She's probably not in there. I should get going. It's nice seeing you again.
Not... Don't tell... Omen, who are you looking for? Does her name start with an A? He makes to turn away, and I don't know what moves me to act. Perhaps it's his aura. The way I suddenly sense it swell under his glamour and spot the wisps of flame trailing from his hair and the tips of his ears. Perhaps he's walking away and I simply can't let him go right now. Perhaps I'm tired of one more fucking mystery in this town. Either way, I reach out and grab his wrist. Wait. And instantly regret it. The pyromaniac in me is now turned on. You can't give me fire and tell me not to fall in love. Fuck! Omen was not on my radar. Omen was not on my radar. And then they make him Fire Baby. And I cannot resist a Fire Baby. Fuck. Oh my god. Heat scorches my hand, forcing me to withdraw with a small cry. Omen looks over his shoulder at me with glowing amber eyes, his lips drawn back in a half snarl. His still eerily human face is framed by a wreath of fire. My guts clench, twist drop under the sudden glimpse of an immense, blistering presence that sprung out of nowhere. My instincts scream at me in warning. My guts clench, twist, drop under. Okay, that sounds weird to me, but continue on. Demon. No shit, Sherlock. He told you this! Then Omen jerks back, as though out of a trance. And everything extinguishes. Omen, don't take this the wrong way, sweetie. Can you go back to the other form, please? If you didn't think I had questionable taste in romances, you certainly do now. I don't know how long we stand outside Ezra's shop with the space of a sword swing between us. Omen's arms are limp by his sides, making no move to defend himself. All he does is stare at me. Stare at me with huge eyes and palpable horror.
I'm sorry.
Don't be! It was hot! Sorry. They haven't given me August in a while. So my emotions are very crazy at the moment because I haven't seen August in a while. Give me a break, okay? I force my mouth open to tell him it's alright. I've had worse, really. But I can only pry my jaw apart. The words, I can't force through. He's not waiting to hear them. He's stepping away. 1, then 2, then 3, and he turns around and flees. I can't move my legs to follow. By the time I get enough control of myself back, Omen's already long gone. In hindsight, I'm glad I couldn't follow him. Excuse me. It takes a tremendous effort for me to pry my stiff fingers from the comfort of my weapon. Well, shit. I see you guys trying to tell me how to say words. I'm not gonna remember them. You saw that lick I did? Shut up. Note to self, if Chani learned fire magic, then make sure everyone turns their cameras on during D&D. Screw you. You gotta screw you, man. Screw you, DM. Wait, what was in the mail we think Omen sent? But we don't know if Omen sent it. It said it was in demonic script, and we thought it could be Omen, but right? It didn't express that it was Omen's letter. It just said it was in demonic script, and I thought it was Omen. You decided to romance Chani. The only reason why she isn't a complete asshole is because I felt like that wouldn't work with how kind Relly usually is. So yeah, I feel like I might know it a bit. Look, remember how Chani and Drayli started out though, is we hated each other. And then Drayli just started calling Chani princess. And then it snowballed from there. Honestly, if Chani became a bitch, Drayli would probably be like, I mean, you deserved it. Like, you know, the back, like, Miguel and Tulio's like, the stars are not in position for this ritual. And Miguel's in the back like, stars! Can't do it. Not today. I just want his fucking vest. Hot and bothered. True though. True. I love you so much. You know I love you. I know that I love you. We know. I'd been sitting in my room at the Wolf waiting for the sun to set. Waiting for darkness to fall so I can carry out my next move. So, now we just don't give a fuck. We're like, yo, danger? Walking out in the middle of the night. Okay. No messenger had come to summon me to headquarters, and neither had August come to bang down my door. That's concerning, actually. I gather that the identification of the deceased hunter is taking a little longer than expected. Or many dark things cross my mind, but I push them away. I meant it when I said that I'm tired of being pushed from pillar to post, kept in the dark. Enough is enough. If this town wants saving, then I'll do it on my own terms. The door to August's office thankfully unlocked, and I'm pleased to discover that it's empty. Yo, we going some spy espionage shit. I'm into it. Let's go. The desk is in its usual disarray, papers and books haphazardly strewn across its surface. No problem, Sleepy. We'll see you when you get back. I take a deep breath and head straight for the filing cabinet I've seen August rummaging through so often, and I carefully open the drawers. Apparently Piper has her own, a whole portion dedicated to her reports. An impressive feat. After much rummaging, I eventually find Aya's papers stuffed at the very back of the bottom drawer. If I didn't know what I was looking for, they'd have easily gone unnoticed. It certainly looks like August has tried to hide them, which only increases my suspicion. I find her transfer papers, a glowing letter of recommendation from her previous enforcer. Her records are clean with no discrepancies, nothing but praise. I see the words kind and thoughtful repeated multiple times, and the only complaint, if you can call it that her enforcer had is that she was overly cautious. Then I find it. Her discharge papers. An obnoxious red treason stamped across the front page. I have a feeling someone just walked in and they're not very happy. In the blink of an eye, the whole office lights up and the door loudly slams against the wall. Hey, August! What are you doing here? In your office? Fuck.
What are you doing?
Oh, shit. The pan! Shit. I watch magic coat every surface, flowing and curling over the walls, floor, furniture. It even creeps over their clothing, their skin too. They stare at me wide-eyed, vivid violet swallowing the once ice blue of their irises. And though I should be concerned that I've been caught, I'm distracted. Because his shirt is open and I had the pan up and he's hot as fuck. Hard not to be distracted, okay? August. The magic that glimmers upon their clothing disappears, and their eyes lose that otherworldly glow, but the room remains alight. They look at the bundle of papers that I hold tightly in my hand, a frown furrowing their brow.
I would ask that you put those back, Hunter.
Okay, I would. But I need to know stuff. Y'all called me here to find stuff out. You can't be hiding shit from me when I'm trying to find stuff out. No matter how hot you are, okay? Please don't look at me like that. Please, please. Their words are eerily calm, and they seem more concerned than annoyed. Why is everyone so fucking concerned? What happened to her? They close the door, clicking the lock and checking the handle before they walk towards me. As poised and perfect as ever, they stare me down.
You know, not even Piper found those. I hate to admit that I'm impressed.
You know, it might be winter in Japan, but it's getting a little hot in here. God damn it. Just when I think I'm falling for other characters, August just comes in and is like, y'all fucking thought. August. They unfurl their fingers in a silencing gesture, and I pause. August is still my superior officer, and I am nothing if not respectful.
I do not wish for Piper to be demoted, nor do I wish for you to meet the same fate, but I appear to be having a case of déjà vu. But, you know, sometimes the hand that feeds is a forceful one.
I'm perplexed. I expected a much harsher conversation. August isn't exactly known for their calm temperament, and this is startlingly out of character. Aren't you going to admonish me? With a sly smile, they shake their head. No, Reaper, I am not.
I believe in you, strangely. I believe that you're a bright light at the end of a very, very dark tunnel for this town.
Everyone thinks that. Y'all need better lighting then.
And I have been questioning things lately.
Thank you. Okay, baby person might be okay. Thank God. Baby might be okay. I have questions for you. I'm here for you. I just want I am here for you. Clothed, unclothed. I am here. Sorry, I might just be pushing this too far, but I am here. The look that crosses their face breaks my heart. It's one of shame. I long to comfort them, but these papers weigh heavy in my hands. August, please. I can't take any more dishonesty. I'm here to help. I want nothing more than for all of this pain to stop. They drop their gaze, apparently unable to look at me. I'm here for you. The blush. Their cheeks flush pink, mouths set in a thin, nervous line. I do not deserve it. I got myself in this mess by... They catch themselves.
I do not deserve it.
I cross the room, the papers discarded, and I stand face to face with them. Help me, August. I tentatively reach for their hand, and they take it without question, lacing their long fingers with my own. I'm just flirting with everyone in this goddamn town. So sorry. The markings brighten, drumming in time with what I assume is August's hammering pulse. People are terrified, and I think you are too. What did this girl do to deserve to be forgotten?
If I told you that I do not know, would you believe me?
No. No, I wouldn't. I run my thumb along the back of their hand. I look deep into those eyes that seem to hold the universe. I wouldn't, but MC says I would.
Then you must be a fool.
Which means that IRL Reaper is not a fool because I said I wouldn't. Good job! I don't know why I looked at my hand and said good job. I laugh quietly, reaching up to cup the curve of their jaw with my free hand. They lean into my touch as if they've craved it for an eternity. Fuck. Then a fool I'll be. The time spent with them at the festival granted me access to a very different August, one that I found myself becoming quite fond of. I relish in the warmth of their flushed skin against my own, reveling in how beautiful they are. I'll always protect you, August. We can help each other here. Something in my gut tells me this really is all connected, and this doesn't exactly comfort me. The very institution that I work for, that I've dedicated my life to. I move to pull out the sash and let it unfurl, holding it before them, and August's eyes grow wide. Who does this belong to? Aya Walker. Their expression is unchanging. I see. It's bloodied. I nodded, handing it to them. They carefully lay it across their palms, studying it intently. Heavily and torn to shreds. Whatever happened, she put up a fight. They frown, their lips pursed. Something is clearly perplexing them.
She was not reported to be injured upon her arrest. That much I do know. Something like that wouldn't be omitted.
I throw them a sorry stare, wondering how they could still be so sure of such things. You're positive the blood is hers. If I hear his voice, I can kind of mimic it. I want to tell them how I know, but I can't implicate Ezra nor Alcar, not after they were both so clearly terrified. I'm sure, and I'm going to need you to trust me on that. Strangely, they don't question it. Instead, they sigh, placing the sash upon their desk. Repositioning in my chair, because I fidget so much. She was yours, August. Don't you want to know what happened to her? I want to see her, to visit the dungeon. They glance out of the window, and another heavy snowfall coats the icy street outside.
I think you need to take a seat. I have a few confessions.
On the serious hand, yes, plot a lot. On the romantic side of things, a confession, you say? I can hear the rush of my blood pounding in my skull as I take a seat, my heart trying to escape the restrictive cage of my ribs as I stare my enforcer down. August's fingers are visibly trembling. All color is drained from their skin, and I'm fearful that they might faint. They draw in a shuddering breath and reach for one of the drawers in their desk, pulling out a vial that grows a vivid lavender. I recognize it from the very first time I met them back in Ezra's shop, which strangely feels like forever ago, even though it was like literally 3 days. The way they demanded it from him was, The way they'd demanded it from him was with a desperation that I haven't seen in them since, but it stuck with me nonetheless. At first, I think they might pop the cork and swallow it whole, their eyes hungry as they shake it, watching the viscous liquid swirl and brighten. They don't, though. Instead, they place it in the middle of the desk. They proceed to sit on their hands, and I gather that it's a precautionary measure to prevent themselves from indulging. What is this? They clear their throat, unable to meet my concerned gaze. This is what I've been reduced to. Ezra gave this to you? They nod, and I reach for the vial. They watch intently, their throat bobbing as they swallow thickly. Oh my god, the room lit up. The room flares to life as I pop the cork, and August shifts in their seat. It smells fragrant, almost citrusy. It's certainly not as unpleasant as I anticipated.
It is not harmful if used as intended. Ezra could never create such things. He is not interested in enabling me, but I may have pressured him.
Enabling you to do what?
I may have taken advantage of it, hence the nature in which my magic has been manifesting lately. Just another thing to add to the long list of regrets I seem to have accrued lately.
I look around the room, now understanding how such a display is possible. What does it do exactly? I can feel a crackle in the air, an obvious shift in tension.
My magic draws from the mind, and when using it often I tend to grow weary faster than most. It's a weakness I'm not proud of, and I cannot be viewed to be weak when in such a position in this agency.
They gesture towards the vial, and I lay it back upon the desk. Therefore, this affords me the ability to replenish my mana, to put myself to use whenever required. Psionic abilities such as my own are rare, so I am required quite often. There are quite obviously side effects, though. Your health is more important than your notoriety, August. They seem taken aback by that statement, maybe even a little embarrassed. Yes, and I see that now.
I've been a little blinded by the desire to impress, but the harder I look, the more I realize that I might be pushing myself to the limit for a broken cause.
I blanch at that. Those words coming from August's mouth seem unreal. It's a casually honest statement. Painfully honest, even. And certainly not something that I could imagine the enforcer I met just a week ago daring to utter.
Too many questionable things have happened right under my nose. And I was too blinded by my determination to succeed to see.
Aya, Piper, the murders. We need to go back to the start. Examine the root. The root being the agency. The enforcers? With a small nod, they lift their eyes to the ceiling, speaking their next words with great effort. Yes, the enforcers. Then why bring me here? That I cannot answer. I wish I could. Ron, hello, I see you in the chat. Hi. That wasn't towards you. That was towards all the information I've just gotten. Information that I've gotten that still does not connect in any way, shape, or form to my head. Let's ask about Piper. You mentioned that you didn't want Piper to be demoted, so what happened? Their gaze flickers to the side, staring out of the window at the snowy street. After Aya's arrest, Piper became unsettled. Rightfully so. Now I look back.
She wouldn't stop rambling about a theory she had about the agency. Corruption, slander, all nonsense to me at the time. She was caught trying to break into the dungeons and rifling through my files. Just like you were this evening.
Look, boss babes know how to get shit done, okay? I clear my throat, offering them an apologetic grin. I was too infuriated to truly think straight, and before I got the chance to defuse the situation, Harry caught wind. I regret the way I dealt with it. Piper was a good friend before this mess began. I should have helped her. I let her down. You regretful. Oh, baby. Their gaze meets mine, and they somehow seem more concerned for me than they are for themselves. You and Piper, you were friends? Hard to believe now, I know. They're smiling! They're smiling! I don't think we've seen them smile! I believe in August Smile supremacy. Will Smith here. Look at that smile! Oh my god, I love you, baby. Oh my god, why are you so cute? It seems like you were friends with a lot of people, sweetie, before some of the stuff went down. Although, with the smile, you can see the black circles around his eyes. But yes, we were. Close enough for her to convince me to arm wrestle her. They absentmindedly rub their elbows if they're nursing an old injury. Don't do that. Ever. The way they light up when they talk about such memories doesn't go unnoticed, and I feel a pang of sorrow for their lost friendship. They both seem like they could do with such company in their lives, and now I understand why they're noted as being so prolific as a team. You should speak to her and clear the air. The look they throw me is less than convincing.
Piper is a proud person. She's been wronged by someone she trusted, and she does not trust freely. I wouldn't expect her to forgive me without much begging, but I shall try.
Look, okay, if you feel like you've done something wrong, maybe you do need to do a little begging. Begging apology. Pocky. I truly valued our friendship. I've been cruel to her in my mission to please Harry. That ends now. Okay, now let's ask about Aya. Okay, tell me about Aya. They rest their elbows upon the desk, steepling their fingers. There's not much to tell, really. She transferred here only a few months ago. We barely become acquainted when she was arrested, though Piper took a liking to her. A small smile crosses their lips. They worked well together, and I finally got to catch up on the ridiculous amount of paperwork I'd accrued during my time spent in the field with Piper. Why were you in the field?
Well, things have been a little busier than usual here in Lunaris lately. Creature activity has been at an all-time high these past few years, and Piper and I made an unstoppable team.
I contemplate that for a moment. For any peak in activity is usually for a reason. It's been worse the past few years? Not always this bad? They shake their head. Not always, but it almost seems normal now. I make a mental note to remember this, to pry later. So her arrest, one day she was just gone? No explanation? It was reported that she went on an unsanctioned hunt. I wasn't aware, and neither was Piper. We never saw her again. I reach for the papers that sit upon the desk between us. Harry's signature as clear as day. You know, Harry, things ain't looking too good for you, buddy. Pal? You didn't question it? An uncomfortable shift. A squirm, almost. I did not. You don't question Harry. He's given me no reason to. Until now. I watched them carefully, the furrow in their brow deepening as they quite clearly second-guessed their own statement. Something isn't right here, and Aya's situation feels too convenient to me. Don't you agree? With a sharp inhale, they sit back in their chair. A little of their tension seems to melt away, but the sadness still lingers. I do. August pushes away from their desk, swiping the still glowing vial as they stand. They cradle it gently in their palm before it's shoved firmly into the drawer from where it came. What next? What can we do? I think you should speak to Piper. She might know more than me, especially after her snooping. I stand too, my touch lingering upon those discharge papers. I want to go into the dungeons. I want to see her. They avert their gaze, cheeks rosy, their frustration evident.
I cannot authorize that. Not when I know it would put your position in jeopardy.
But it could save countless lives, baby! They thoughtlessly slide their hand across the back of their chair, cutting me a sympathetic stare. I can't have a repeat of what happened with Piper, Reaper. Trust me? Nothing will happen to me. I'm done playing it safe. If it wasn't for the romance. Nothing will happen to me. Their concern is etched all over their face, and it makes my heart hurt. I realize that they truly do care for me. The guilt from what happened with Piper obviously eats at them, and maybe our added closeness makes it a little more personal to them. Maybe. August, I swear to you that nothing will happen to me. I know what I'm doing. You seem very sure of that. Of yourself. I can't lose you too. It's different than it was with Piper. How am I different? How am I different, sweetie? Gotta click the button, Reaper, but I'm scared. They avert their gaze, worrying their bottom lip between their teeth. When they look back at me, they take a step forward, reaching for my hand.
I care for you. And that may sound idiotic. I know we've only been acquainted for a mere week, but...
I squeeze their fingers where they lazily twine with my own, almost as if August is unsure if their affection will be returned. I feel it too. Oh, I see. Well, then I'm sure you can understand my predicament here. I nod, because I do understand. I would hate to see August punished for any of my actions. I do, but I need you to just trust me on this one. I won't do anything to get either of us in trouble. Their hand falls limply from my own, their gaze nervously flicking towards the very locked door. I do trust you. I just don't trust anyone else. Whatever you have in mind, be careful. Everyone's telling me to be careful. I smile because I know exactly what I need to do and who I need to help me do it. They watch me intently, lips quirking into a small smile as they watch my face light up. You have a plan, don't you? I do, but I'm not sure you're going to like it. You may not approve, but we have a few allies that probably know the dungeons better than any hunter or enforcer ever could. The dramatic and sudden roll of their eyes tells me they know exactly who I'm talking about. You want to enlist a bunch of vampires to help us break into the enforcement dungeons. Not a bunch, just the one. Finn has lived in this town longer than literally anyone. August scoffs, loudly. Lived. He's as dead as a doornail. So you're just going to walk into the dungeons, Casimir in tow, and hope not to get caught? I smile at their obvious distaste for my plan. Ezra, Piper, even Alcar, they can all help too. Do I have your permission to proceed? Did I just say proceed? Proceed? No, we're doing that again. Do I have your permission to proceed? A pregnant pause follows my question, but eventually August meets my gaze once more. You have my permission. But please be cautious. I'm no wiser than you here, and I cannot protect you if something goes wrong.
I came here to make something of myself. I was so desperate to move out of the shadows of my parents. I come from a family that held me to such high standards. Standards I could never dream of meeting, no matter how hard I tried.
Their words grow terser as the seconds pass, unraveling gradually.
I don't want this to be my legacy. I want to make the world a better place, not a scarier one.
I gather that August has suffered through much frustration, and life has weathered them to the bone. They quickly gather themselves. I won't let you down. I don't doubt that, actually. Oh, my heart. I think my heart stopped or started racing or something. But shit. I know it was voice acted. Oh, man. They say it's no fun being right, but I have to disagree. I like racist August. Remember, yeah, I'm not sure if it could be racism. Just remember, like, they're enforcers and hunters are supposed to kill creatures like that. We're just lucky that Alcar, Finn, and Omen are the good ones. Pocky? There's no music. What the hell? I just really quickly want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. We're getting into some good stuff. This is the only run that we will be able to do that we know nothing. All the other runs, I'm probably gonna rush through it and be like, okay, we just want to see like the ending romances for each group, for each person. But like, I'm not gonna care about the plot because I wonder if the plot itself changes, like. But this will be the only time that we know literally nothing. So I'm so glad you guys are here and you're hanging out with me. Appreciate you. I head back to my room at the Wolf to clear my head and to try and figure out my hastily concocted plan a little more thoughtfully. I stay up pondering the fact that we still haven't been given the name of the latest victim, and I wonder if Harry is keeping it from me for a reason. After my conversation with August, everything feels wrong. A quick, sharp pain rises in my temples. I feel that familiar presence lurking. Despite that, it would appear that no voices will visit me tonight. Because apparently nothing is sacred in this town, I managed to coax Piper's address out of Edna with very little persuasion. I head across the street, unsurprised that she lives so close to the tavern, and as far away from headquarters as possible. Her house is small, but appears to have character, much like its owner. I take a deep breath and I knock. Also, are Piper and Aya, you know. Everyone's just into the shirts that go down to here. I'm not complaining though. We not complaining. Not a single bit. No, not here. No. She looks surprised to see me, but her expression quickly softens.
I wasn't expecting you, especially because I assumed you had no bloody idea where I live. Are you okay?
A timid smile crosses my lips. I definitely don't think this is a conversation to be had in the streets. Can we talk? Oh, sorry. Of course, come in. Cute! No, okay, never mind. I was like, not what I expected, and I saw the weapons on the far side wall. Never mind. And down below. Never mind. This is that. Yep, I expected this. There's a sword on the table. She's definitely a lesbian. Look at all the plants. I love it. I love it. Her house is warm and inviting. The walls adorned with an abundance of gorgeous weaponry, and various plants and brightly colored pillows litter the room. Your home's beautiful. Thank you. I've been lucky, really. I know not all hunters catch a break like I have. Plus, real estate in this shithole is cheap. We share a laugh, but I can't help but feel a sense of urgency to discuss things with her. I decide now is not the time for pleasantries or stalling. Getting straight to the chase is the only way. I have some news about Aya. Her eyes widen, flicking to the side away from me. Aya?
Please don't say what I think you're going to.
I pull the sash from inside my coat and present it to her, but I'm quick to reassure. This was found in the woods, but that doesn't mean... She could still be alive, Piper. This has clearly been out there for a while. She reaches out and runs her hand over the ruined fabric, her fingers shaking. With a deep inhale, she withdraws, turning to sit upon the arm of her sofa. Why are you here? She looks so sad, like she's only thinking the worst. I don't blame her, and I can't imagine how frustrated she must feel with the hand she's been dealt. I wanted you to know that I spoke to August last night. They were quite honest with me about everything, really. Oh, they were,
I suppose they told you why I was demoted. I acted without rational thought. I was so angry.
I offer her a smile, trying to catch her gaze. I may or may not have been caught doing exactly as you did. You didn't. I nod, feeling a little smug now the fear of being reprimanded by my enforcer has dissipated. I broke into August Willenheim's office and lived to tell the tale.
Fucking brilliant. You've got guts. I'll give you that.
God. I love her laugh so much. Sometimes she snorts and it's adorable. I shrug, brushing it off. I'm grateful that the mood has shifted to something that feels a little lighter. You know, August regrets how everything happened. They seemed wistful. I think they miss your friendship. She frowns deeply, fiddling with the edge of her tunic.
They hurt me. I think it'll take me a while to get over that.
Fair enough.
It wasn't even about the punishment. It was that they didn't believe me. You work with someone for all that time, but when it came down to it, they thought I'd gone mad. Why would I make up such a thing? Everyone jokes about us and our instincts, but they don't understand. When we feel something, we really feel it, you know?
I nod because I do know. Whatever lies within us that grants us our abilities is something we cannot shake or ignore. If we sense someone is in pain or they're scared, we feel it in kind. If we love fully. If we can feel that something feels off, it usually is. They employ us to do what we do for a reason. I wish they'd have a better understanding of what or how we feel. She scoffs a quiet laugh, rolling her eyes and offering me a small smile. If only.
If August wishes to make amends, I welcome their apology, but it will take me a while to trust them again. I was humiliated and betrayed by one of my only friends. They've got some begging to do.
Well, congratulations, you're both on the same page. They know they have to do some begging. You want them to beg. Good start. I call this a win. Now that I'd like to see. See, what MC Reaper doesn't know is I'm about to have that person, like, I will have that person begging at the end of this story for me. Shit, me too. I'll get you a front row seat if it ever happens, alright? Deal. Now, I have a proposition. Oh? We're going into the dungeons. We're doing this together. How many times can I... What was I say? When do I pick the... when do I be like, you? We're doing this together. Come then. What's this proposition, dear General? We're going into the dungeons. You what? It's the snort. She's adorable. She bursts into laughter, her shoulders shaking. Then a pause, and she registers that I might not be joking. Wait. You're serious? I can't help but laugh at her furious expression.
You're a real idiot, you know? Are you jealous of my shameful demotion or something? Being a major isn't that exciting.
And look, being a general isn't all that's cracked up to be either, so...
Why are you grinning like that?
MC Reaper and me have the same thoughts going through our heads. I take her hand and she immediately tugs me closer. Oh, love it. Because we're doing it together, so we'll be just fine.
You're so cheesy. I really don't know why I like you so much.
Three and a half years in a committed relationship, and I still got it. Yeah. She shoves me away playfully, her eyes sparkling. So, come on then. What's this plan? I'm still putting the pieces together. You inspired me, though. Good to know some good comes out of my suffering, I suppose. Do you have any tips? Any kinks you encountered on your journey? Wrong use of words there, Reaps, but okay. The fact that I didn't even get to the door would indicate that I failed pretty miserably, wouldn't you say? There are wards, there are guards. It's pretty impossible. Unless... Well, you know Ezra, don't you? That witch is more than a pretty face. Speak to him. See if you can convince him to help. She's right. I've seen him use wards in his shop, and from what I saw of his magic and from what I saw of his magic the other day. You're a genius. She shrugs as if that's the most obvious statement I could have made. Duh. When you're ready, you know I've got your back. Always. Again, even if I wasn't flirting with them, I feel like some of the options for these characters would be the same. Like, I've got your back. We were worried about you. Like, I love this. I clicked a button, didn't I? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Thought I clicked a button. Upon entering the shop, I find chaos. I spot Ezra frantically gesturing at Omen, the demon's tail tightly coiled. I'm wary of approaching him after our little incident yesterday, instead choosing to observe from afar. I manage to catch Ezra's eyes, and he throws me a sympathetic look. He's stressed, his hands full of bandages and potions. He mutters something quick and sharp under his breath to Omen, who then turns and stares at me with wide, sorry eyes. as the witch disappears through his purple curtain. Omen, what happened? If I ask what's going on, will you give me an answer? The question seems to catch him by surprise. Then he looks away, his lips pursed. He doesn't seem to have forgotten his outburst with me yesterday, or his abrupt departure. Good. It isn't my intention to trip him with a reminder, but just as well that he remembers. Did you bring someone in who was hurt? Brown eyes snap to me almost instantly, and Omen moves as though to step between me and the entrance to Ezra's back room, then catches himself in the middle and forcibly drops his arms to his sides. He opens his mouth, stammers without speaking, then his shoulders droop in defeat. A little spark that might have caught on the bandage rolls in his hand. Wait a second, sorry. A little spark that might have caught on the bandage rolls in his hand. Peters out.
Yes, but maybe you shouldn't see her right now. I mean...
Her? He licks his lips, a flick of his black tongue visible. It seems so eerily out of place on a face so painfully human in its distress.
At least let Ezra see to her first. He needs some space when he works his magic.
Okay, but who is it? Then we have time for you to tell me. I'm sure our guest is all right. Are you hurt? I'm sure our guest is all right. I haven't seen Omen this nervous before. In the admittedly brief time we've known each other, and his fear sets me on edge. Sorry. Yeah. No, I'm good. No, I'm fine. Never mind. Excuse me. Continuing on. Carefully and deliberately, so as not to spook him, yesterday's almost burn is still fresh in my mind. Sorry. That one I had the timing off. Carefully and deliberately, so as not to spook him, yesterday's almost burn is still fresh in my mind. I step forward and put a hand on his arm, squeezing it gently. I'm sure our guest will be all right. Ezra's tending to them after all. Omen blinks at me, then smiles and leans into my touch, visibly relaxing. He's a beacon of warmth in the cold room. His power is wound tight to his core. I feel it under the glamour and the convincing illusion of fabric under my arm, but he won't let it loose. Won't let it hurt me. Yes, you're right. Whoever they are. Despite my gentle prod, he still presses his lips tightly together. For a moment I fear I've caused him to clamp down again after all, but he takes a deep breath and very gently shakes me off. Another deep breath. Omen is steeling himself for something, I can see it. I decide to back off as well, giving him some space. He shoots me a glance, then hugs the items he's holding closer. When he speaks again, his voice is very soft. Hunter babe. No. Reaper. I have something I must tell you. I'm listening. Omen smiles, though it's brief and weak, and also quick to disappear like candlelight in a storm. His eyes lose focus as he begins to speak.
2 years ago, I came to Lunaris. That is, I came to stay in Lunaris after a disagreement with my sire, my father.
His eyes flicker around the room almost nervously, and I find myself straining to detect any eavesdropping presence, but there is none. Omen seems to find the same thing because his shoulders droop again.
You know what I am. I suppose you've already guessed.
Fire baby, yes, and I love it. He sighs.
Your people call him Lucifer, I think. The fallen divine. The Lord of Hells.
I'm not falling for Lucifer's son. Reason 6,928 of the reasons why my family cannot watch my streams. It takes me a moment to process what he said. Demon lore is plentiful and easily accessible when you're a hunter. Even in our early years at the academy, we pored over detailed logs of their fiendish hierarchies, favorite vices to exploit, patterns of their appearances. I would damn well hope I know who the Lord of Hells is. Oh, that is... Very nice. Omen's brown eyes widen, his jaw going slack in surprise. The glamour truly is something, and I'm starting to wonder if he learned it from the witch behind the from the witch behind the curtains. It is? Yes, baby. Yes, it is. He coughs.
That was sarcasm, wasn't it?
It was an attempt to not hurt your feelings. Yes.
That was not sarcasm.
Oh, you're adorable. No, it was not. Something else also hits me. Our sire? Omen bites his lip and looks away. Then he nods curtly, eyes flicking to the door leading into the shop. Well then. Does your father know that you're here? In the mortal realm? Can he find you? A terrible thought crosses my mind. The burned bodies. The hunters targeted. No. The vehemence of his denial is startling. I quickly hold up my hands for peace, but Omen isn't paying attention. He's shaking his head vigorously, trembling.
No, that can't be him. Him or any of his minions. I would have known. I would have stopped them.
His brown eyes are glowing with fire as he stares at me pleadingly. Literal simmering flames. Yes, and again, it is very, very hot. And attractive. And temperature. You know what? No, hot's a good word to use. Yes. I can feel the fire in his core standing here, far enough away, and now that I know where it comes from, the familiarity makes sense. That's one hell of a secret to hold on to. And who is that in the back then? One more colossal fact to add to the messy little mountain of information I've been gathering since stepping foot into this mad town. What else is new by now? I believe you, Omen. Omen's shoulders droop in relief, and I feel something tense inside myself unclench as well. It needs not end badly. It will not. Besides, this case would have been closed far faster if it were run-of-the-mill demons messing about. Right. Omen closes his eyes and says something too quiet for me to hear. Then he breathes in, breathes out, and slowly makes his way to the counter. He sets all the items in his arms down. There, with such deliberateness, I know he's doing so to calm his nerves. Something sneaks through still. I see a flicker of flame about his hair, an intensity to his aura. But only briefly. The pressure fades as Omen raises his head. He doesn't look at me as he speaks.
I think I'll just head outside for some fresh air.
Only if you want to. Are you sure? Omen smiles at me over his shoulder, the curve of his mouth tense.
I think it's for the best. I don't want her to see me like this, rattled and angry. She's my sister. She doesn't deserve it.
Another reason to stand, Omen. He trails off, staring into the distance for a moment. Then he shakes his head and makes for the door, only adding one last thing before he steps outside.
Will you go and say hello to her? I'm sure Elaine will find you quite lovely.
Oh, I love that name. She's so cute! Omen! Were you not going to tell me your sister was adorable? Oh, I love that skirt, though. Can I have, please? You want to share? I'll give you some of my enforcer clothes, I guess. General clothes. Whatever I have in my trunk. The second I lay my eyes on her, it's more than a little obvious that she truly is related to Omen. Maybe even his twin. Unless the glamour is simply fooling me. Oh, excuse me, everyone. Ezra has a poultice carefully pressed to her dainty hand. A pile of gauze covered in a thick black ichor, I think, discarded upon the counter by his side. She blinks at me once, twice, Her eyes are big and brown and every bit as earnest as Omen's. Hello. Her voice is disarmingly sweet, almost musical even. I smile at her politely, looking to Ezra for a little guidance. Elaine, this is Reaper. Reaper, this is Elaine, Omen's twin sister. Ah, yes. I assume Ezra was just as unaware of her existence as I am, but he's polite enough to stay calm and focused, as friendly and as hospitable as ever. It's nice to meet you, Elaine. Oh, you too. Elaine narrows her eyes at me for a brief moment, shaking her head. She looks terrified. She addresses Ezra, but she certainly keeps her eyes on me, on my weapon. Where's Armoros? I look at Ezra, my confusion quite evident. Armoros? Ah, yes, that... Her face lights up when I say his name, but I gather that she doesn't fully understand my trepidation. Ezra turns to address the demon, patting her hand gently. He's just outside, and you're all healed up, but I do think you should go and see your brother now. Okay, yes. Yes, I should. Ezra releases her, throwing me a sorry look over his shoulder as he turns to quickly dispose of the mess of medical supplies. It was lovely to meet you, Reaper. Her demeanor is delightful, and I'm still slowly processing exactly what her brother just told me. Yes, you too. She glances at me briefly before shyly averting her gaze, turning to meekly part the curtains that lead into the shop. What the fuck? Where did you come? Ezra? Ezra, fill in the blanks. Fill in the fucking blanks, Ezra. The second she's gone, a tall, pale figure bursts through the back door. He looks shocked to see me, but quickly recovers. Blanky, come back here. Is she healed? She's fine, and she's with her brother. I suggest you give him space for the time being. Ezra's words are final and somewhat stern, and Armoros quickly wilts under his vibrant green gaze, his eyes still lightly glowing from whatever magic he's just performed. Apologies, everyone. I did not take my nap. It is getting late, and I'm a little sleepy, but we're still continuing on. Don't worry. I don't really know how to unpack all of this. What happened to her, and why are you so desperate to be by her side? No. He stares longingly at... You don't use longingly and stare in the same sentence in that way without it. You're into one of the twins. Is that why you're being so fucking weirdly quiet? Your sister wants to kill everything and you're like, fucking one? Good choice, by the way. She cute. And if she's anything like her brother, she got a fiery side to her, literally. He stares longingly at the curtain, Elaine's voice quiet on the other side. Then I remembered the note on the stoop of the Ayapek, the little heart! No fucking way. Okay. Okay, game. Okay. Zes Haiwa. Ah, well, I'm courting her, you see. Apologies, I went straight to fucking courting. That's a great way to put it. Oh my god, what? We're together. We stand Armoros. Me, Armoros, into the fiery twins. She was attacked last night by it. The one that's been getting to your kind, I think. Ezra and I share a look, doing little to hide our shock. It? As in, the creature? Armoros closes his eyes, sighing heavily. Then he nods. Yes.
If you need to tell us something, we can help. Elaine didn't need to get hurt, so if you know where this thing is...
He looks at me, then back at Ezra, his throat bobbing as he swallows thickly. He's quite clearly battling with the idea of divulging any more information. Encourage him, push him to talk. Encourage. Let's save. Oh my god, we're only on chapter 4? Let's encourage him. Armoros, it's okay. You can trust us. We just want to help.
She's right. No one will know what you tell us. We just want people to be safe.
He sighs again, his shoulders sinking into defeat. I just want her to be safe. We can see you care for her a great deal, and we want that too. His ice blue eyes quickly flicker between each of us, and it's the most animated I've seen him. Why are you being so nice to me? My sister and I... He trails off, almost looking right through me. If you have any information about the creature, we need to know. People are dying, so I find it hard to hold your beliefs against you if you can... excuse me. People are dying, so I find it hard to hold your beliefs against you if you can offer assistance. Very well. Aurora has been sneaking out at night as of late. It's not exactly uncommon for her, but I believe she's doing more than satisfying her baser urges. It's okay, Aurora. Ezra looks away, covering a quiet cough with his hand. We don't have time to unpack all of that, but I'll store it away for later. What do you suspect? I suspect nothing. I know that she's feeding it. Or something, at least. Feeding it? Mm-hmm. He seems unfazed. Startlingly so. She may seem cruel and cold, but Aurora has a good heart. She cares for the creatures and makes sure they're safe. Can I see Elaine now? Can you maybe elaborate a little on that first? He shrugs, sighing again. It is what it is. I don't dictate to her what she can and cannot do. I find myself losing interest in our preachings. I just want to keep Elaine safe now. Ideally, we'll leave this wretched place for good, but... Her and Omen have only just reunited. Would she be so quick to leave him? Maybe not. I think it's best for both of you to stay here and lay low. I'm not sure why the creature attacked her. It hasn't attacked anything inhuman so far. He looks at me, fixes my gaze, and with perfect confidence. How do you know? There's been an increase of activity in this area for the past few years, but as of the last few weeks that these attacks have been taking place, nobody said anything about the other monsters attacking. So is this thing eating the I don't know, Armoros. Can you, like... A chill rolls along my spine, but I shake it off. You're right. I don't. I'd really like to leave now. You can't... Excuse me. You can leave, but I need you to promise me something. He narrows his gaze. Go on. Watch Aurora, and the second you see her do anything out of the ordinary, you find me. I will ensure Elaine is safe, I swear to you, but your cooperation is essential. I see Ezra shifting nervously out of the corner of my eyes, but I stand my ground. Armoros continues to assess me. Fine. I will seek you out, and I will watch my sister. Farewell, Hunter. Witch.
Well, that was interesting.
You could, yeah, Ezra, yeah. I anticipate some commotion from behind the curtains, but I hear nothing but silence. Interesting is putting it lightly. How are you, anyway? I have a quick laugh, because that question feels far too casual for the amount of information I've digested in the last forever. Tired, confused, the usual. I suppose I haven't done much to help with that, have I?
I wanted to apologize for not being totally honest with you and for making your life a little harder than necessary. You already have so much on your plate.
He seems genuine, and aside from his odd behavior yesterday, I have no reason not to trust Ezra. I spoke to August last night and Piper this morning. They know about the sash. Fear flashes across his features, but I quickly reassure him. It's fine, Ezra. They're on our side. They want to help. Even Gus? Yes, even August. Are you sure you're not magic? Because that seems like an impossible task. It's called my charm. Making that person fall for me. And pretend that's it, not me falling for them. I shake my head profusely. No magic here. His smile grows and he seems to relax exponentially. It's nice to see. Then let's talk. He takes a deep breath.
The reason I was so hesitant to discuss Aya, or the Enforcers for that matter, is because I used to work for them.
You were an enforcer?
Hell no. I went in and I assisted in the infirmary or morgue whenever they needed an extra pair of hands. Healers, good healers, are few and far between around here.
You scared me, Ezra. Ezra, you scared me.
It's what I always wanted to do, to apply my skills where most needed. Helping those who dedicate their lives to ensuring our safety was an honor. The murders began and I examined the first body. You can even call it that in the state that it was in.
I listen intently, taking all of this in. A little perplexed, a little caught off guard.
Something shifted within the headquarters after that. They started treating me differently, called me in less. And then, when I was there, they kept me clear of any hunters. It became quite clear they didn't want me there any longer.
So he would have gotten close to August. And then when Harry told August, like, you need to make distance, that's... Harry sus now. If Harry wasn't fucking sus before, thanks, Alec, he's definitely sus now.
Information was being kept from me, important notes about the victims I was supposed to be examining. The Aya incident happened, then another dead hunter turned up, and they revoked my access.
They took away all of my notes. Notes? He nods, glancing over at the kitchen counter. I may have had Piper retrieve them for me. If you'd like to take them, there's not much, but you're welcome to them. Yes, I'm taking the notes. I'm not even saving. We're taking the notes. Yes, I'll take them. He opens one of the kitchen drawers and pulls out a pile of parchment. Then he discards what looks like a fake wooden bottom. Oh, no. Why do I have that? Go away. There we go. Sorry. Then he discards what looks like a fake wooden bottom. The notebook is nestled safely beneath it. Here. I tuck it away inside my jacket for later. So why are you so afraid to tell me this? You did nothing wrong. You were helping people. He offers me a sorry gaze, his brow furrowed, fingers curled into fists at his side.
They don't like people talking about it, about the deaths. Many of us have our suspicions now, and they know. I think they'd do anything to keep what's happening quiet.
Even killing their own citizens? Like not telling me who the latest victim is. Harry knows we lied. Harry knows we lied. Exactly. I wasn't even sure I could trust Gus, but I wanted to so badly that I pushed my apprehension aside. You were right to trust them. They're on our side. They're scared too. Oh, Gus. I just want all this to be over. What are we gonna do? I smile and Ezra's expression lights up. You have a plan? I have a plan. Good night, or bye, Ron. Have a good day at work. I need your help. I can't do it without you. This is what I need you to do. I can't do it without you, man. I look deep into his eyes, hoping I can wash away some of the weight that he carries. The toll this has taken on him is obvious. I can't do this without you, Ezra. I need you. Anything you need, Reaper. I trust you. I smile, taking his hand when he offers it, and he squeezes mine tightly. Together. Together. Piper and I are going into the dungeons to see if we can locate Aya. If we can talk to her, I think we might have a start. Everything leads back to when she was arrested, as far as I can tell. How on earth are you going to get down there without being caught? That's where you come in. It may involve you and August working together. Does Gus know about this little plan of yours? I grimace, waving my hand in a so-so gesture. He approved. Partially?
You're lucky I trust you. And I'm here for you. Just tell me when and where.
Imagine IRL having a bunch of hot people just being like, yo, you wanna break into a prison? Let's go. We trust you so much that yes. And we're all 10 out of 10s, like. Thank you, Ezra. Now, how can I find Finn? Why, a secret passageway, of course. You're in the right place. He bends down, kicking aside a colorful rug to reveal that hidden hatch. It creaks loudly when he opens it, a gust of cold, stale wind rising from its depths.
Walk for about 10 minutes, and then when you see candlelight, it's the third door on the left. Don't be alarmed by any vampires you stumble across. They're all friendly.
Okay, fair enough, thank you. I nod, taking a deep breath. I lower myself into the hatch, gazing up at him with a smile. See you around. Oh my god, I'm getting a little tired, like sleepy, and also my voice, but I just want so much. Sir Reaper, about that bank job. What? It took me a second and then it clicked. When and where? Don't joke. You know I'd be down. You know you asked that of me, I would be down. Feel like when, where? Send me the plan in advance, because I'm obviously going to have to read it a bajillion times. Okay. It is 11 p.m. here. What I'm going to do is we're going to do this next section, which is like getting into the underground, the vampires, and we've collected the group. And then we might end it there. And then the next time we play it, we can be like, yo, Oceans 11, 12, 13, full force. But I think this would be a good stopping point, like to do this section and then move for the stopping point. The incessant drip, drip, drip of water guides me forward through the darkness. The stench of damp and decay fills my nostrils as I sink deeper into the corridors of the catacombs. The pitch black path is long and winding, and the only sound I can hear is the tap of my boots on the wet stone. Eventually, I see candlelight flickering ahead, and it would appear that I'm finally found life. Well, kind of. I remember to look for the third door on the left, just as Ezra had instructed, but as I approach, I find it wide open. I peek inside, and the stark contrast between the literal tomb outside and what I find in what is most definitely Finn's quarters is astounding. He draws. There's pictures. Look at the pictures. He draws. I love it. He also has a skull. I'm very concerned. I'm kind of concerned about the skull, but I'm not gonna question it. Before I get the chance to take in the view, a cool breeze brushes past me, ruffling my hair and sending goose flesh prickling across my skin. A small, darkly clad girl appears before me in a flash, her eyes the brightest crimson as they bore into me. She stands with her head tilted and a toothy grin crossing dark lips. Are you lost, human? She stares me down, wide-eyed and quite clearly trying to intimidate me, but she seems playful? I'm here to see Finn. She relaxes at the sound of his name, and her striking gaze sweeps over me like a caress. She shrugs, pursing her lips. So you're the one he won't shut up about, huh? Well, you do smell good, I guess. Smell good? Is Finn here? She licks a fang, and I notice how similar some of her more human quirks are to his. She's far less poised than him, but I almost feel like that may be on purpose. I'm in Finn's territory here. Neutral territory. So I quell the desire to be defensive, even though her eyes are the color of a creature who drinks human blood. He's somewhere. Here. Around. Doing stuff. Helpful. Her smile widens and she turns to poke at a crystal decanter of whiskey that sits nestled in the corner of one of his many bookcases. Are you part of the clan? A quick nod, almost too quick to catch. I am. She pours the rich amber liquid into a glass, swirls it, sniffs it with a dramatic grimace, and sets it aside untouched. Her nose is still crinkled in barely disguised disgust when she looks at me again. I wish that thing that you're looking for would stop killing hunters, you know? Because that means that more of your type will come. Then more enforcers, which is the last thing we need in this shitty town. I hear footsteps, loud ones that echo off the stonework in the hallway. That kind of glitched there. He unbuttons more and more buttons every time we see him. But I am not complaining. Reaper. I suspect he knew I was here, but his shock is charming nonetheless. He looks at the girl, who throws him a decidedly wicked, wolfish grin. The picture of innocence.
Raven, are you being nice?
No. The girl, Raven, shrugs. sidling up to him and resting her head on his shoulder. She rolls her eyes hard enough that I'm surprised they don't fall back into her skull. Yes, Dad. Finn's face drops, his eyes narrowed. I get the impression that if he could blush, his cheeks would be the prettiest shade of pink. I stifle a laugh, and with obvious delight, Raven notices. Raven. She laughs, the sound loud and obnoxious, but somehow still charming. She shoves him playfully, but Finn remains stern. Are you going to introduce me to your friend? The suggestive waggle of her eyebrows doesn't go unnoticed, and Finn sighs heavily, offering me an apologetic smile. Reaper, this is Raven. I'm his kid. Oh, he turned her. There's a low, exasperated rumble of a warning in Finn's throat, and I find myself enjoying the way he bristles in her presence. Finn throws her a death glare, and she proceeds to look guilty, but just a little. He raises a single dark brow at her, and after a quiet scoff, she enthusiastically steps forward and offers me her hand. It's really nice to meet you, Reaper. This guy hasn't stopped gushing about you, so thanks for giving him something new to mope over.
I do not mope.
Raven rolls her eyes, and I finally take her hand. Her grip is firm, and I wonder if she might be trying to unnerve me with her startling eyes widen exponentially. Hurt him, and I'll eat you. Got it? I open my mouth to respond, but before I get the chance, she's laughing again. Finn looks mortified, and he carefully pries her hand from mine and ushers her towards the door. It's time for you to go, I think. Raven pouts, raising both of her hands in defense. I was joking, obviously. I like her already. She offers me a little wave and rises onto her tiptoes to press a kiss to Finn's cheek. He looks at her with unabashed fondness, a small smile creeping onto his lips. Go. Say hello to Lux for me, and be good. He runs his hand over her shorn scalp, and she swats him playfully, scoffing much like a teenager would at an embarrassing parent. I'll do more than say hello. Bye, Reaper. I played with her voice, but nothing stuck. He gives another disapproving rumble, and Finn almost looks like he wants to chase her to administer another pep talk, but he stops himself. And with that, she's gone, the door slamming loudly and shaking in its frame. Finn groans, running an iron hand over his face as he walks to grab the whiskey Raven had poured him. She's interesting. She's your... He sips his drink.
She's a pain in the ass is what she is. But I suppose she's my pain in the ass. I sired her, so she's my responsibility. She jokes about me being her father, but I suppose I am, in a way.
He takes a small sip of whiskey, savoring the taste for a moment before he speaks. Though I prefer brother, father just makes me sound so old. Old? His laugh is charming. Yes, old. She tends to look after me much more than I look after her. She's a good kid. I'd be lost without her. I nod, observing him quietly as he sets down his glass. Sire bonds are powerful, and it's interesting to observe such a casual, healthy dynamic. Hey, Persian, good evening. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Did you choose to turn her? He frowns, shaking his head. Well, no, not exactly.
It's complicated, but I made a choice that I'll have to live with forever. Literally. I'd seen too many die at the hand of my sire. Something about her struck me. He planned to leave her for dead, but I couldn't let that happen.
He smiles, and it's painfully earnest.
We're kindred spirits, I guess. As much as I have regret for cursing her with immortality, she's the closest thing I have to a family. Now, what brings you to my neck of the underworld?
Well, I have a plan. Are you trying to see if my thumb is, swelling or anything? It's not. I'm just going crazy. He leans back against his desk. I need your help. Okay, saying this in a bedroom, I'm not sure, but I like it. I have a job for you. I need you. I need you. He raises his scarred brow, his dark hair falling in his face as he turns to set aside his drink. You do, His smile has me rolling my eyes, and I quickly try to distract myself. You knew what you were saying, Reeps. Let me rephrase that. I need your help. I have a plan, and I think you may be of use. He laughs, a raspy chuckle.
I'm all yours, Hunter. Do with me as you please. Just tell me where and when.
Love it when these people say that. I clear my throat, the double entendre making my skin feel hot. He smiles, and I know the bastard can hear the unsteady flutter of my pulse. Fuck you, man. Piper and I are going to attempt a break into the dungeons beneath HQ. His pointy ears flicker, almost flattening against his head before they put themselves to rights. He can't seem to mask his surprise, nor his apparent interest. Excuse me. The dungeons, He whistles, scuffing his boots against the stone floor. I can help you, but I may have a favor of my own to ask you if you're bold enough to venture down there. I narrow my eyes at him, contemplating if I want to tangle myself into yet another web. What is it? He pushes away from the desk, standing tall.
An important member of my clan has gone missing, and I'm positive that they have him. As I'm sure you know, any trust for the enforcers is wavering. I want my friend back. He's done nothing to warrant being thrown in a dungeon.
His hands ball into fists at his side, his prosthetic flaring brightly before it fades into its usual dormant, dull glow. How do you know they have him? I don't. They have an excellent defense system that prevents any of us from detecting him, no matter how close we manage to get. He would not just abandon us. He's either detained or dead. And if it's the latter, I just want to know. You're sure he wouldn't just leave? Your clan isn't like others. Maybe he wanted to change. He looks frustrated. He runs his fingers through his hair, leaving it messy.
Fierro wouldn't just leave. I know he wouldn't. I trust him more than anyone else in my clan, even Raven. We both suffered at the hands of Levi for centuries. We were healing from that together. He was the only friend I had when I was with Levi, and he saved me more than once. I owe him this. If he's ash and bone in a forest somewhere, then so be it. But if he's okay, then I must save him. The only family creatures like me have are the ones that you find, so I intend to keep them safe as long as I can.
Ask about Levi, ask about Fierro. Let's just go down the list. Let's ask about Levi. The information on Finn's sire is sparse outside of the fact that he was notorious and cruel, and I wonder how such a seemingly kind man could have followed him for that long. Call it morbid curiosity. Do you mind talking about him? About Levi? Finn grimaces, folding his arms across his broad chest. His posture loses its usual confidence. I suppose. I take a seat upon his bed as he pulls out his desk chair. The first thing I could think to ask him is loaded, but I need to understand. Why did you stay with him for so long? He looks at me wide-eyed for a beat before he manages to formulate a response.
I don't know if I can answer that. I still truly do not know. He was good at making sure you had nothing left to go home to. So he was all that I had. I'm not the kind of man who does well with loneliness.
Okay. A wry smile crosses his lips, but Finn looks impossibly sad. What did he take from you? He swallows thickly, casting his gaze to the side.
Everything. He took my fiancée. killed him right in front of me before he took my own life. I was an orphan, and I didn't exactly have many friends. Gabriel was truly all I had. He destroyed our home, all of our memories, even took my name from me. He took it all, and he did everything to make sure that I needed him. I followed him like a lost puppy for centuries.
No, Finn. Did you ever try to escape when you found others? He nods.
Many times. I had a few periods of freedom, but he always found me. He tended to collect vampires with abilities like Fiero and myself. Maybe to make up for the fact that, aside from his advanced age, he was truly unremarkable.
He's truly, literally a piece of shit. And now, he's dead and you're free. You seem to be managing well for someone who endured all of that. He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck with an iron hand.
I'm trying to shape myself into the man I always wanted to be, before the whole being undead thing. I try not to dwell on things that happened to me. I was bitter for long enough, but I cannot change any of it. All I can do is be the opposite of what he wanted me to be.
Nice. I smile as I observe him. I register how comfortable I feel in his home. The thought of stepping into the den of a clan before all this would have set me on edge, but now... You're doing a great job, Finn. His mouth curls into an earnest grin. Thank you, Reaper. I give you permission to kick my ass if I ever dare to step out of line. Duly noted. Okay, let's ask about Pharaoh. I'm doing good, Persia. My evening is going well. I'm getting a little sleepy, so I'm gonna finish like this section of us like gathering our people for this adventure, and like the vampire part, and then I'm probably gonna call it a night. I've got some little announcements at the end, but other than that, I'll probably end in the next like 30 minutes. Good night, Sleepy. I can't wait for D&D as well. Sleep well, my friend. So that's about Fiero. Why do you think they would take Fiero specifically? If you're so sure he's innocent. He shrugs. The yawns just keep coming and they don't stop 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 coming and they don't stop. Sorry. He shrugs, clearly quite confident in his theory. Because he's valuable. He's an empath, a powerful one. If he saw something he wasn't supposed to, or even if they just managed to overpower him and get him alone. I rarely let my clan members patrol by themselves, regardless of our supposedly stable relationship with the enforcers in this town. But I was stupid, and Fiero is a good sweet talker. He sensed someone in distress in the woods, so I allowed it. Therefore, if anything has happened to him, it's my fault. Finn prides himself on being the opposite of his sire, and I can see that this is eating away at him. You can't place the blame on yourself. You didn't know. Plus, if he's as valuable as you say he is... His eyes light up when they meet mine, his fingers twitching upon the surface of the desk. Then they could be using him, so he's still alive. I smile in return, tilting my head this way and that. Well, ish. He laughs and I can't help but join him. So, you'll check for me? I nod. I will. So what is it that you'd like me to do exactly? Well, no one knows this town quite as well as you. I was hoping you'd have some secret little passageway tucked away for me to use. There are wards and other nasty little tricks in place to stop people like you, like us, getting in. I'll worry about that. Now, about that passageway. His grin is wicked, and I think I have my answer. I'm your guy. Just say when and I'll be there. If you need anything else, just come running. I bid Finn farewell, and now I only need to find one more friend. Alcar. I saved the most stubborn to last. And that I just don't know how long the conversation is going to be. Sometimes they're kind of short. I felt like Finn's was going to be longer. But it wasn't. It was fairly short this time. But we're going to recruit Alcar in the next stream that I play. Save. In the next stream that I play when the night comes. So we are saved. Gonna go back to the main menu. Don't worry, I saved it. We're good. And we're back. We're back with the husbandos, the waifu, the partner. Good stuff. I'm guessing the nap didn't go as planned. No. So what had happened was I actually didn't take a nap. I was working on other stuff, which is what I'll talk to you guys about right now. Today was so much fun. Mind blown multiple occasions. I love them so much. I like everyone I've fallen more and more in love with, and then we go back to August and I'm just like, yes.